Hello, this is Clean Coach Carly. I am the staff nutritionist for Healthy Habits Living, and today I'm talking to you about intermittent fasting. This is such a buzzword right now, so let's get a couple of things straight. What the heck is intermittent fasting? Well, some people call fasting in general, they call it a water fast. And that's a little bit of a misnomer because a water fast means you actually drink water and you don't eat any food. So remember, anytime you're fasting, you never want to go without water. If you think about how long the human body can go without food, which is anywhere from 7 to 21 days, medically speaking, the human body can only go without water for about 48 to 72 hours. So we need that water, and drinking water does not break a fast. In fact, I encourage more water while you're fasting because your body actually utilizes more water while you're fasting. That's hard to believe. So I recommend 12 ounces of water for every hour that you're fasting, including while you're sleeping. So if you sleep for 8 hours, you've missed, 74 ounces or 76 ounces of water. And so you need to make that up during your waking hours. Okay, so intermittent fasting, again, is a popular buzzword right now. What does it mean? Well, it means to fast for a certain amount of time. And some people are doing this every day, which I actually don't recommend for most people. I know that men can maybe do this every day, especially if they're in really good shape or if they have a lot of body mass. In other words, they need to lose weight. But for the general population, it's not a great idea to do intermittent fasting every day. So intermittent fasting is usually done in a eating window. So it's called a 16-8. So in other words, you fast for 16 hours and then you eat anytime you want, usually 3 meals during the remaining 8 hours of the day. So if you hear eating window, oh, I'm on an eating window, it means that someone has decided to fast for 16 hours is usually the amount of time. And to only eat during those specific 8 hours that they have designated. It's most popular to have the eating window during the day for obvious reasons, because while you're sleeping, it's not really a great idea to try to eat. So a normal or kind of a typical eating window would be 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. So think about this now. If you start your fast at 6 p.m. and you go to bed at 8 or 9, you're fasting most of the night while you're sleeping, right? So most of your fast is during the night. If you get up at 6 o'clock the next morning, you fasted from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m., that's a 12-hour fast already. And if you're trying to get to that 16-hour mark, which is where the medical research is really supporting to get to that 16-hour mark, you add that 4 hours and then you're at 10 o'clock. And so then you're going to eat your late breakfast then. And then have your lunch and then your dinner before 6 p.m. So, again, I don't recommend that you do this continuously day after day after day, but if you want a model of how you would want to space out that eating or time you're eating and you're fasting, I usually recommend 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. plus 4 hours, which is 10 a.m. So 6 p.m. to 10 a.m. That's your 16-8 eating window or intermittent fasting. There's some other popular concepts right now too, like the 22-4. So again, 22 hours is the fasting window and 4 hours is the feasting window. And this has been made popular by a diet or program called the Warrior Diet. And so again, you're fasting for most of the day, 22 hours, and then you are feasting because you're cramming in a lot of calories during those 4 hours. And I usually recommend those 4 hours between 12 and 4, okay? So lunch and early dinner. All right. So there are a couple of other things that are popular right now. Some people follow the 5-2, and now this one is in hours. This is actually days. So 5 days of the week, you are on a low carb, low calorie diet. It's usually anywhere from 500 to 800 calories. And then on 2 days of the week, you're on regular amount of calories for you, or regular 3 meals per day. And then there's also the 24-hour fast, which of course we're always drinking water during all of our fasts. And so the 24 hours is exactly what it sounds like. So if you're going to fast and you want to kind of make the most out of your sleeping time, right? You're going to fast from 6 p.m. at night. Usually people are going to have a dinner before that, even a large meal, and you're not going to eat again until dinner the next night, 6 p.m. So here's a couple of things that you might have run into. Can I drink coffee on a fast? Now, metabolically speaking, so if we're looking at what our blood does while we're fasting, if you drink coffee and you release adrenaline or cortisol, that's going to, as a byproduct, raise and drop your blood sugar. And metabolically speaking, you're really not fasting anymore. Okay, so one of the points of a fast is to keep the blood sugar steady without any outside food or drink besides water influences. Okay, but some people say that you can actually drink coffee still, as long as it's high quality coffee, and given that you're not sensitive to caffeine. So really, that is up to kind of your personal experience. And I recommend, if you want to experiment with yourself on that you use a blood sugar monitor. And so after you drink your coffee, you see how it has affected your blood sugar or not affected your blood sugar. Some people will put MCT oil in their coffee, and some people will just take MCT oil on a fast, which is helping them to get into ketosis faster. Now, it's not necessary to be in ketosis to be fasting. So that's people that are trying to kind of double team, right? They're trying to be in ketosis and get the benefits of fasting. So MCT oil is not necessary, and coffee may or may not break your fast in a metabolic sense. The other thing that you want to be aware of when you're fasting is that many supplements and medications will actually break your fast. They will raise and or lower your blood sugar. So specifically, if you take thyroid medication like I do, it will spike your blood sugar. And then if you haven't eaten, you'll likely get a blood sugar crash. So when I'm fasting, I usually, instead of taking my thyroid medication in the morning, I usually take it around 10 or 10:30, right before I'm going to eat my first meal after my fast. So keep that in mind, that it will and can affect your medications and your supplements. And that includes diabetics, right? So if you're diabetic and you're taking a blood sugar managing medication, it may be a little bit more difficult for you to fast. And you may want to hold off on that dose, of course, checking with your healthcare practitioner to make sure it's okay to change the time of that dose for that day. So keep that in mind. And then the last thing to keep in mind, and this has been a big topic of discussion, is that we're seeing people doing intermittent fasting too often for their bodies. And so that means at the end of the day, or the end of the 3 days, or at the end of the week, if you look at the calories that they've eaten over the span, they're just not eating enough calories to keep up their muscle mass. So they might have lost weight, but it's been in the form of losing muscle mass. So keep that in mind when you're deciding how often you want to fast. Now, for women who are menstruating, I recommend no more than 2 times per week, and really you work up to that goal. For women who are not menstruating, I recommend the same thing, no more than 2 times per week, because even when a woman isn't menstruating, she still does have fluctuating levels of hormones, albeit less than when she was menstruating. In general, kind of the general rule, again, for men is that they can usually do intermittent fasting every day continuously. They have different metabolisms and hormone systems than women. And of course, any man or woman who is overweight and has some body mass and fat to lose, they can certainly fast more often than someone who's at a normal or average weight. So that is the all you need to know overview of intermittent fasting. So the benefits of fasting aren't just weight loss, they are longevity. So that's why a lot of people are doing fasting now. It improves autophagy, which is cellular turnover. So it causes your cells to renew or die and make new ones more quickly. And this actually increases the length of our lives. The other thing is that it gives the digestive system a break, which is great because that energy that you would have been using to digest your foods can now be used to remove or push out stored toxins, specifically out of the liver. So there's lots of benefits to fasting, and there's a lot of wisdom to fasting, as long as you are really being mindful of your own body and your own needs. So at Healthy Habits Living, we're always here to provide you with safe and up-to-date information on the latest health trends and those things that we know are proven in science to improve our lives and our longevity. We are here to help you get healthy so that you can stay healthy and be healthy.